But today I'm here to tell you about the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. So my question to you is, how much do you know about it?
I know nothing. Nothing whatsoever about the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising.
Okay,
You should educate us.
so there were two major uprisings during World War II in Poland. The Warsaw Uprising and the Jewish Ghetto Uprising also in Warsaw. And basically, we will just talk about I can briefly mention the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, which was basically it was basically an act of uprising of the occupied Warsaw against the German occupators, which were the Warsaw people basically thought that the Germans were retreating and that they would be able to beat them back and greet the Soviet army as the owners of the city, because they were wary of the Soviets trying to occupy the city themselves, you know?
Yeah.
And so it ended up basically Soviet army stationing on the other side by the river and not helping the uprisers at all, and the uprising failing miserably, and 200,000 people, civilians, dying in the uprising.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a mistake, basically. It's not a very popular opinion, but the uprising was a mistake. Okay, and now we go to the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, which, as the Wikipedia says, it was in 1943 the act of Jewish resistance in the Warsaw Ghetto. Basically, I'm not going to read this anymore. It was the act of it because, as you know, Jewish people started being taken into camps from the ghettos by trains, right? In order to be mass murdered. And people often ask what would happen if Jewish people would arm themselves and try to resist the Germans. And the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising was basically a desperate act by the
example of that,
by the remaining Jewish population that basically thought we do not stand a chance of victory, but we might as well die fighting instead of just being rounded up and taken to the Nazi camps, you know?
To the camps, yeah.
Yeah, and it was, it says here, in German World War II, they opposed the Germans' final effort to transport the remaining ghetto population to Majdanek and Treblinka death camps after the Gross-Action Warsaw of summer 1942, in which more than 250,000 Jewish people were deported from the ghetto to Treblinka and murdered. The remaining Jews began to build bunkers and smuggle weapons and explosives into the ghetto. The left-wing Jewish combat organization JOB and right-wing Jewish military union formed and began to train. A small resistance effort to another roundup in January 1943 was partially successful and spurred Polish resistance groups to support the Jewish in earnest. The uprising started on the 19th of April when the ghetto refused to surrender to the police commander SS Brigadeführer Jürgens Troop, who ordered the burning of the ghetto block by block. Ending on the 16th May, a total of 13,000 Jews were killed, about half of them burnt alive or suffocated. German casualties were probably fewer than 150, with Stroop reporting 110 casualties, 16 killed, plus 1 dead, 93 wounded. The uprising was the largest single revolt by Jews during World War II. The Jews knew they could not win, and their survival was unlikely. Marek Edelman, the only surviving Job commander said their inspiration to fight was not to allow Germans alone to pick the time and place of our deaths. According to the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum, the uprising was one of the most significant occurrences in the history of the Jewish people. So, like, as you can see, it's like a big deal, you know?
Yeah.
And each year it's being commemorated by the Museum of Pauline, and special yellow flowers are being given to the people all around the city that you can take and you can glue to your, jacket or something like that,
Yeah.
It's the flowers are called daffodils. I'm not sure how to pronounce this in English. Daffodils? Do you know?
Daffodils?
Daffodils, do you know the flower?
Yeah, you're correct. Yeah.
Okay, daffodils are associated with Marek Ederman, the last commander of the Jewish Combat Organization. Every year, on the anniversary of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, he placed the daffodils at the monument to the ghetto heroes in Warsaw, Poland, and at other sites associated with the extermination of Jews. So now it's like sort of paper versions are given to people each year all around the city, and people wear them in commemoration of the ghetto uprising. And of course, there's there's a march organized to the plaza where Jewish people were taken and driven to the camps,
Okay. That's really interesting, actually. I didn't know anything about that. You should come on a different stream where I'm not distracted, so we can go through that in depth, because that would be very interesting.
Okay, because the history of the ghetto itself is very, I think, not known to people.
It's actually kind of appalling, like, how little the details of, like, such an infamous regime are not known at all by basically everybody. It's kind of incredible. You have people still to this day saying that the Nazis came to power democratically.
Yeah, they lost.
That's just factually untrue. They have never won an election.
Yeah, they lost 2 times in a row when they tried.
I shouldn't say they've never won an election. They have never won
on their own.
Well, they've never won a majority. So they've never won. Yeah.
Because they had to do a coalition sort of thing,
Yeah, like they've won seats. They were a popular party.
But actually, they on their own
they were more popular than the socialists.
On their own, they sort of lost 2 elections in a row. And it is important to note that they lost 2 elections in a row because they were the only party that did their campaigning 12 months a year non-stop,
Yeah. Oh no, they were relentless.
Yeah, they did their campaigning non-stop, and they were basically the only party that did that. And yes, but I think people, when they discuss the Holocaust, they always talk about the camps, but never talk about the ghetto, And the ghetto is like a very big part of it. There's like
people think of the ghettos as just being a part of, as just being sort of an indistinguishable part of the Holocaust by itself. So it's just kind of folded in. It's like, oh, this was the placeholder prior to Auschwitz. And in a certain sense it was. But it's a bit more complicated than that.
Yeah, because people were basically walled in and they had to pay for the wall, which reminds me of ideas of modern day politicians,
Oh, this is interesting. So Gabrielle Things in chat has just, I didn't actually know this at all. Did you know that not all the Holocaust victims were liberated after the war? Gay people were still criminalized in post-war Germany, so they went from concentration camp to prison.
Oh, I did not know that.
I did not know that either. We've got a couple people waiting in the wings to come in, so I'm going to let you go now, Lucy. But please shout out your channel first, and I'm going to bring you on again in future, so don't worry about it.
Okay, so I am Lucy Haze, and now thanks to the handles, which I think are a pretty cool thing that everybody should use, you can find me at YouTube /@Lucy_Haze, you know?
Yeah,
Did you
it's
know?
Lucy, Lucy, and then Haze. If I have a blue wrench in chat, if you can put a link to that in the chat for Lucy, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, and if you have a YouTube and you don't have a handle, you should pick your handle, you know? It's a pretty nice feature.
I think I already have one.
Because you're sort of already monetized, yeah?
I think so.
This is like
Yes.
automatic, but you can sort of now custom pick whatever you want it to be.
Well, I think mine's still just President Sunday, so I think
Yeah,
that
I
works
think
fine for
so.
me.
Yeah, I think so. I
Yeah.
had to change mine to Lucy Haze manually.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, well, take care, Lucy. It's been nice having you on.
Yeah, thank you. And let's talk history.
Yes,
one time.
absolutely. We will indeed. Take care.
Okay, I see you.